Did you know that if you're a CenturyLink customer, they can disconnect you entirely if you go over your data limit? It's true, and other companies have other ways of dealing with that sort of thing. So, to answer the question of whether data caps are even still a thing, well, yeah, they are, sort of. They're much less of a thing than they used to be, but for many providers, yes, still definitely there. So, now before I get too far, just know that today we're talking about data caps for internet service providers, not so much for mobile providers. Those data caps are still very much in play, and that probably merits a video all by itself, but that'll be later. Today, it's about ISPs. Some of them have data caps, some don't. So if you're on an unlimited data plan and all of this is moot, then congratulations, you can just go on your merry data hogging way. But for the rest of us, with the exception of the satellite internet users, my condolences to those folks, data caps are usually pretty high and haven't posed much of a problem. But as streaming becomes more prominent, as more and more of us cut the cord, this is something to watch out for. Especially if you are a cord cutter, that streaming is going to eat a lot of data. So this is something we've got to go over. So today I'm going to talk about what data caps are, how different companies deal with them, and what you can do to manage them so you don't run into problems. Let's dive in. Now, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell icon. We're going to come back with a lot more videos after this about how to get the most out of your internet service provider. So for today, data caps. Yes, they are still a thing for some internet providers. Some, like Spectrum, Optimum, Frontier, and others, they have no data caps. Unlimited high-speed data so you can rejoice. You can stream and play and surf and Instagram to your heart's content. Nothing to worry about for you. You can carry on searching for more entertaining stuff on YouTube, I suppose. The biggest providers though, like AT&T, Xfinity, CenturyLink, Cox, they have data caps on some plans, unlimited data on others, and how they offer it varies by provider. So, AT&T, you can get unlimited data if you're on the gig internet plan, otherwise your cap is set at 1 terabyte. CenturyLink is similar. On Xfinity and Cox, the cap is also at 1 terabyte, but in those cases, if you want unlimited data, you have to add as much as $50 to whatever your plan cost is. Yikes, not my favorite thing about Xfinity. But in the final category are the providers that have painfully small data caps, and no great way to get around them. Basically, this category consists of satellite internet providers, HughesNet and Viasat. Now, Viasat's plans are technically unlimited, but they have what's known as a soft cap, where they slow down your speed to a trickle if you go over that cap. Anyway, let's move on. So what happens if you go over your cap? Well, it depends. There are a lot of different ways companies respond to data overages. Xfinity gives you 2 courtesy months to go over your data cap with no consequence, and then they'll charge you $10 for every 50 gigs of extra data you use. CenturyLink will send you warnings for a while, and if you're a consistent offender, like I said earlier, they might even shut off your connection entirely. Now here, cord cutters beware, or at least be wary. Streaming is what eats up the bulk of your data usage. I'm a moderate streamer, and here's what my monthly usage looks like. Even I'm kind of creeping up toward that terabyte of usage. Now over on the satellite internet side, where those caps are so much stricter, Viasat and HughesNet will slow your connection to a trickle if you go over. So your 25 megabit per second connection suddenly gets dropped to 1 or 2 megabits per second. If you're on satellite internet, there is one thing you can take advantage of. HughesNet has a bonus zone from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. where you get an additional 50 gigs of data. If you're going to download a video or a large file, or if you can schedule software updates, that sort of thing, use the early morning hours to do it. Viasat has a similar bonus data system in place, but the hours there kind of depend on the plan type. So the next logical question is this: how can you avoid running into the cap in the first place? Well, let's think of it like dieting, only with more TV and less exercise, thank God. On my calorie tracker, if I look at everything I'm eating, it unfortunately makes me far more aware of how many calories are in every donut, every bowl of breakfast cereal, every Rice Krispie treat that I consume. It's not cheerful, it's not fun, but it is illuminating, and it makes me much more disciplined. So the first thing to know is that your ISP's website or app will let you track your data usage. Not always as granularly as a calorie tracker, but the principle here is the same. So check it often, especially at first, like daily actually, because doing this will help you get to know how much data you're using throughout the week. Chances are good your weekend usage is heavier, for instance. Next, know how much data you're likely to use in a given activity. Once you know the difference in data consumption between 4K and 1080p, if you're trying to avoid a data cap, suddenly that 1080p picture quality looks just fine. Also, make sure you double check your devices. If you have a Roku stick or a Fire Stick plugged into the back of a TV and it's streaming live TV and you shut off the TV, that does not necessarily shut off the stick or stop it from streaming. So there is an answer to the age-old question. If a stick streams a show and no one is around to see it, did it really consume any data? Yeah, it did. And there are no doubt some other tricks for trimming your data usage or keeping control of that, so throw them in the comments below. Let me know what your favorite data consumption control tricks are, and on your way down, give this video a like and subscribe if it was useful. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.